So everybody's got a binding channel that's good to go? Okay, so, and everyone's got a piece of binding? Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to apply the binding and glue it down. We're going to use acetone in a syringe here, which will melt the binding just enough to stick it down to this wood. We're going to put some tape on it, and that's going to help hold it in place. If you want to use bind-all, we can. This way works really great too. As some of you have already found out, the binding will bend quite a bit, but it won't necessarily bend all the way. So these tight points right here, we'll get a heat gun and finish those binding, that part of the binding off. For your guitar, you're going to need to do it twice. For you guys with Les Pauls, you'll only need to do it one time, because it'll absolutely bend in a radius like that, which would be more than enough to go over that front knot cutaway. Okay, so let me show you kind of what we do here. We get it on the guitar. I got the guitar locked down to this table here, and what we want to do is just sort of wick some of this acetone in between the binding and the body. Okay, and you'll probably have to hold it in place for just a little bit, and you will actually be able to see it start to melt. Okay, when it does, grab some of either one of these two tapes here and tape it down. You won't be able to put a whole lot of tape where there's, you know, liquid acetone still sitting, so let it kind of evaporate a little. And sometimes you can pre-tape areas and wick acetone, but what happens 9 times out of 10 is the acetone gets under the tape and melts the adhesive. You know what I mean? And we've got plenty of tape, so don't worry if you think you're using too much. I'd rather have it good and taped down than not taped down enough. You want to make sure that you're pressing down on the binding, down into the channel and sucked into the body at the same time. Okay? Yeah. Come on, tape, act right. Okay. And for everyone here with a cut on their hand, this will be a really fun part of the day. Especially if you have a great big one on your finger. This trick works with celluloid binding, as well as this stuff from StewMac, which is ABS. It doesn't work so great with the binding from All Parts because it's not soluble in acetone.
What are you going to do on the corner?
No.
Oh.
How come you're not wearing gloves?
Oh, that was all I was thinking.
I was hoping you wouldn't let me down. I've tried to do this with like rubber gloves so that I don't get acetone all over my hands, because you know it'll wick in and Brad will go, it's really bad for you and it'll cause kidney damage and or you know whatever it is when you get acetone in your bloodstream.
Acetone poisoning?
You can't get the tape off the gloves too, so. Okay. All right, guys, so we'll do that all the way around. But yeah, the acetone is definitely not good for you. And people tell me all the time in videos how not good for me it is, and how I should wear gloves, and how I should.
Last time I checked, it melts the gloves.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, no two ways about it. So if you don't feel comfortable using the acetone, we can use the bind-all, which is probably just as bad. But one thing that we all know now that I've said in a bunch of these videos to comments to people is building guitars is hard and you can love it, but it doesn't always love you back. Sort of like dating a German chick. Right? Not gonna go there, Chris?
Nobody likes comments from the peanut gallery.
Last time I said that in a video, someone said, "Hey, my wife's German." Yeah. I guess you don't joke around at your house. No one wants to know what that stuff they use at Gibson is. You know, have you seen those pictures? Gibson uses they use cloth. They have a special binding, a body binding holding jig, and they send binding through a slurry of already pre-melted binding, and then they can do everything. There's no heat gun, no nothing like that, and they use these cloth wraps, and they have a really particular pattern that they go, and it takes a long time, I guess, to like learn how to do it and become a master binder. And some of those cloths, they're obviously they're reusable, and they've used them and used them and used them. Okay. All right, let's get the heat gun. I need a tool. There's like one of those sanding
Blocks?
Well, the cylinders that go on
No, rubber one.
Well,
I think he's got one. I can't do both at the same time.
so we want to just heat this binding up, and don't try to heat it up too fast. Don't jam it right up against the area that you want to start bending, and kind of anticipate how much bend you're going to need. On this one, it's going to have to go tight around this corner here and bend to right about there before I can just use the regular binding, however flexible the binding is. And it'll go from all the way not hot to totally bent really fast.
Swing. That's it. What I do, what I have to do, give me just a little tap on the edge, just make sure they're all in. When you check the email, you get the email under threat, and it's not your phone. Okay? And that's basically it. Turn off, there's 2 pieces to start with. Leave one color. Do something. That's your email. So we're going to do force these over. Make sure. Okay. I'll do flat candy.
Tape adhesive come off of that one there. You need to put a new piece right there.
Hang on a second. So what'd you think of binding, Bob?
It was good. Right here's a little bit form,
A
but
little hard?
yeah,
Yeah.
turned out good though.